If you are watching this video, it means you care about John Wick franchise and you are either here to brush up your memory before watching Ballerina or you are a newbie trying to catch up. Either way, don't worry. This video will get you fully prepared for
When you
giving you everything you need to know without spoiling the magic. So, if you are in a hurry but still want to feel like a Wick master, then this is the video you should watch. So, let's discuss. First things first, this is a recap, not a retelling. I won't explain every scene, you don't have that much time. Secondly, you don't need that much detail. And if you
is
do
John Wick.
decide to go back and watch the films afterwards, trust me, you will still enjoy them. So, with that said, let's begin with the first one. That is John Wick came in 2014, the one that started it all. We are introduced to John Wick, a retired hitman, also known in the
The Baba
underworld
Yaga.
as Baba Yaga. He is grieving the recent death of his wife, Helen Wick, and trying to live a quiet life. She leaves him with a final gift, a puppy named Dicey, to help him pop. But things go horribly wrong. Enter Losef Tarasov, the spoiled son of Vigo Tarasov, the head of Russian crime syndicate. Losef decides he wants John's beloved Mustang car and doesn't take no very well. So what do? They steal the car, kill Dicey, and interestingly leave John Wick alive. How interesting these people are, right? The rest of the film is basically a symphony of vengeance as John Wick comes out of retirement and destroys Vigo's men, kills Losef, and finally takes out Vigo himself. He picks up a dog from a vet clinic, and the movie ends with John Wick walking off into the night, bloodied but alive. So that's it. That is the story you have in chapter 1. So let's go to the next one. That is John Wick chapter 2, 2017. Wick tries to go back to peace and quiet. He starts by retrieving the stolen car from Abram Tarasov, Vigo's brother, in a brutal but controlled. He even offers peace afterwards, hoping to finally retire. But of course, past won't let him. Enters Santino, an Italian crime lord and the member of High Table. High Table is the powerful ruling council of Assassin World. He helped John Wick with an impossible task years ago so that John Wick could retire. And now he wants John Wick to honor a blood oath known as marker. The problem with this marker is the person who holds this marker can ask you any wish and you have to do it because there is only two rules
Under
that
this,
cannot be
you know
broken
the
in
consequences.
this retail underworld. One of the two is that you cannot reject the marker. So John completes the task, but then in the moment of personal revenge, he kills Santino inside the Continental, a sanctuary hotel where no bloodshed is allowed. And he broke the second rule, which should be never broken. So now, what? Our Vic is declared as excommunicado, cut off from all the underworld services, with a $14 million bounty on his head. Winston, the manager of Continental in New York, gives him a head start of 1 hour. The movie ends with John running and everyone after him. So this movie sets up an action-filled movie. Like literally most of the movie is filled with action. And the movie is John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum in 2019. By the way, the Parabellum word is from Latin and its meaning is prepare for the war if you want peace. So, Chapter 3 picks up immediately after the Chapter 2. John Wick is now excommunicado, meaning All the protection are
Doc,
revoked,
5
and a
seconds.
14 million
John,
bounty is on his head. Every assassin in the city is after him. He seeks medical help in the final minutes before his ban activates. Then turns to the director, the
Tell me
head
what
of
you
the
want.
Roscarama, the Belarusian
Passage.
ballet
I can't help
assassin
you.
group that
To
trained him. She
reach
helps him
the
escape to
unreachable
Casablanca
star.
in exchange for a ticket, which represents a sacred favor. In Casablanca, he meets Sofia, a former ally and a manager of local Continental. John calls in a marker she owes him. Together, they fight their way through Berada, a high table connected crime lord, and his goons after he disrespects Sophia's dog. John learns he must meet the elder, the one person above the high table. To do so, he wanders the desert until nearly dying. The elder agrees to reinstate John if he pledges loyalty and kills Winston, manager of New York Continental. John agrees and sacrifices his ring finger with his wedding ring. Meanwhile, the adjudicator, a high table agent, is punishing those who helped John. They are the Bowery King. He is slashed 7 times with sword. Winston, he is told to step down from the Continental. Back in New York Continental, John refuses to kill Winston. Instead, he and Winston fight off the high table's enforcers inside the Continental. And this fight is so good that the adjudicator agrees on negotiating. And Winston betrays John at the end by shooting him off the rooftop to regain the favor with the table. But John survives the fall and is rescued by Bowery King. At the ending, we see badly wounded John Wick and Bowery King meet in the sewers. Both feel betrayed by the high table and declare war. And in the next film, we actually see how John Wick is fighting against the high table. John begins the film hiding with the Bowery King. He travels to Morocco and kills the elder, signaling open war with the high table. In response, the high table appoints a new
This. The
enforcer,
Marquis de Gramont.
Marcus,
Challenge him to
an
single
arrogant and
combat.
powerful member of high table. The Marcus destroys the New York Continental and revokes Winston's status and kills Sharon. Also, he tasks Kane, a blind assassin and a friend of John's, to kill him, threat to Kane's daughter. John seeks refuge with old friends in Osaka Continental, run by Shimaju Koji. When the Marquis's men arrive, Koji helps John escape, but is killed by Kane. Koji's daughter, Kira, vows revenge. John travels to Berlin to earn the right to challenge the Marquis to a duel. He must be part of family in the assassin world to do so. So he rejoins Rosca Roma by killing Kila, crime lord who betrayed them. John officially challenges Marquis to formal duel, following the ancient high table rules. Pistols at sunrise. If John wins, he earns his freedom. Winston is named his second and will be restored if John wins. Marcus names Kane as his dueling champion, putting two friends against each other. The final sequence takes place in Paris. John fights his way to dueling site, fighting dozens of ambushes. A mysterious bounty hunter named Mr. Nobody, who initially pursued John for money, ends up helping him after John spares his dog. John and Kane shoot each other at 30 paces during the duel. Both are injured, but John withholds his final shot. The Marquis arrogantly steps in to finish John, but John was never disarmed and kills the Marquis instead. Kane is Fred, Winston is reinstated, and John slumps over the stairs, seemingly at peace. In the ending of this movie, we see Winston and Bowery King visiting John's grave, which reads, John Wick, loving husband. But let's be real, if Ballerina or any other sequel brings him back, we won't be surprised. Now, let me quickly answer a few questions you might already have in your mind. How is Ballerina connected to John Wick? Well, she's actually the part of same organization, the Rosca Roma. You know, the same assassin cult where John was trained as a kid. Remember that scene in chapter 3? John goes to the ballet academy run by the director. Yes, that's the one. That's where Ballerina comes from too. And guess what? The very woman who helped John get to Casablanca, yes, director, is the one who later sends him after Ballerina. So yeah, they are pretty connected. Another question you might ask, is John Wick alive? Well, officially no. At the end of chapter 4, John is presumed dead, buried next to his wife. But let's be real. We all know John Wick 5 is on the way. That could easily be a prequel or, the classic. He never really died. Twist. What does Ballerina have to do with the main John Wick's storyline? Honestly, not much at first glance. She's got her own mission. She's out for revenge, trying to survive in a world that's clearly trying to erase her. But along the way, she crosses paths with Vic, and he is sent to kill her. Yes, you heard right. John is sent to stop her. Now, don't worry. Are they really going to kill off John Wick in some spin off? No. Are they going to kill Ballerina? Her name is Eve in the film. Probably they are not going to do that either. So, what's likely to happen? My guess, and maybe yours too, is that they will clash, realize they are not enemies, and end up working together. You know, kind of how Winston and John always end up on the same side despite all the drama. Now, before we wrap up, let me tell you about something else from the John Wick world, a mini series called The Continental. You already knew about it or just found out now? Either way, here's the deal. It's not directly connected to current storyline, so don't expect to see Keanu popping with the pencil. Instead, The Continental is basically a prequel. It dives into the past, specifically how Winston became the manager of New York Continental. Also, give us more about Sharon. So, yeah, it's all set decades before the events of the movies, a little more history, a lot more world building. Now, if you ask me, should you watch it before Ballerina? I say watch it only if you have the time. Personally, the first two episodes were okay, not not bad, but not amazing either. But the last one, that was worth watching. It really ties things up and give you a decent payoff. You don't even need to watch the first two episodes because they always give a recap, so you don't need, you can just directly watch the third one. You will understand what the show actually trying to tell. Well, I don't know if this miniseries got hate or not, but I know a movie that is coming in July is getting a lot hate. And I have studied it and got to the reason why people are hating it. I will keep the video in the I button. You can see it. You can have a look at that video. So, with that, I think I have covered everything you need to know before watching Ballerina. If this helped you out, do hit that like button. And if you are into films, film words, and film talks, you know what to do. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. This is Visio.